happy people, and welcome to the Bookish YouTube Hop for the brand new Bookish collection. And I am scrapbooking a 12 by 12 layout with this gorgeous large photo that was taken a few years ago in Chicago. And you can see that it is me standing in front of a bookish mural. It's actually a mural that celebrates the suffragettes and the people who worked towards the right to vote in Chicago. And so all of those women above the book are actually activists for women's right to vote over the few centuries. I think that it spans a century at least, that we fought for the right to vote. So it is a double-edged, double meaning mural. And so I really love this photo. It's one of my favorites from that vacation, so it deserves to have the 12 by 12 treatment. I am using a digital template from Cindy Schneider, which I will drop in the description box below, but that is the starting point for this layout. It has these beautiful triangular paper pieces, and the digital template has a 12 inch tall photo, but I only have 8.5 by 11 inch photo paper. So I printed it at 11 inches. So I'm gonna have to contend with the open space on the top and bottom of this photo, which you can see I'm sort of contemplating rearranging the scallops that are on this layout, this template, for the top and bottom, but they don't really work very well for that. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it down, and then I'm going to deal with that later. Hopefully it'll come about organically, or at least that's what I'm thinking at this point. Hopefully it'll come about organically, and if not, then I will just stick some paper there in the end. So to use this digital template, I use a technique that I often use when I am starting digitally, and that is to just scrapbook my page in Photoshop and then send it to print and cut via layers. So anything with a straight edge that's not too complicated, I will just cut out on a print sheet that's 8.5 by 11 and print with my scissors. But more complicated things like these scallops, I will create a print sheet for my silhouette and send it through my silhouette. Now I have videos on how to do that on my website. It's actually a lot easier than you think if you know how to use Photoshop and you're already a digital scrapbooker or dabble in digital scrapbooking. It's actually super easy to create your own print sheets, but that is how I started this layout. So everything is already cut for me and I don't have to really worry about it. I'm just kind of piecing it back together and adding my own little flair once I have print and cut. So I'm just trimming off some excess paper here. Okay, so now I can start building my layout with some of the things that go on top of the base layer. So you can see I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do here. These striped, this is actually a 12 inch. On the template, it was a ribbon, but I used it as a paper strip. But since I don't have a 12 inch printer, well, I do have a 12 inch printer, but I was printing on 8.5 by 11 papers. I just decided to go ahead and cut out the middle and print the top and the bottom because I knew that the middle was going to be covered up anyway. So I just used a little hack to not have to worry about having a 12 inch paper strip again. So I have all of these different little bits and pieces that I'm putting back where they go. These are photo corners for the large paper. One goes up in the top and then one goes in the bottom. I also am going to accidentally put down this orange paper the wrong way, and so you'll see me pull up this paper, and it does, because I'm using Epson premium presentation paper, it does rip the papers underneath it, take the color off, but it's not a big deal because I am going to just put it right back down, just rotate it vertically instead of horizontally, put it right back down where it was, and learn my lesson to pay better attention. There it goes the wrong way. I'm going to realize it here in a second when I'm starting to figure out that, oops, this is not going to stick out as far as I thought it was off of that orange paper. Why is it lining up perfectly to the edge? The things that I do, like not pay attention. I love how I framed this paper strip so that it has the bookshelf directly centered in the banner itself so that it prints out perfectly. Little digital tricks that you can do if you just take some time to set up your files a little bit before you go to scrapbook with paper. So here we go. We're starting to rip everything up very carefully, very slowly. Ugh, this always makes me mad. We're just losing all the color here. The most important part is that I don't mess up the photo, which it did not mess up, thank goodness. The photo having to be reprinted would have been the worst part because it's on the bottom. I made a big old mess. I'm gonna make sure to rotate that orange, or that ripped off part of the orange, up, because I know up is where it's going to be mostly covered. And that little red smear I know is going to be covered too. So we'll get there. It's gonna be covered by this green card as soon as I put it down. So already all of our mistakes are almost all gone. Almost. Just the little tear up there, which I know is gonna get covered up by the photo and this frame. So I just am going to use some liquid glue and put it along the edges of the skinny part of this frame and just the bottom underneath where the photo is going to go. Try and center it. I wanted to make sure that there was a photo of the whole mural, since it gets kind of cut off with the orientation of that large photo. So I wanted to make sure that all of the ladies were represented. Didn't matter in the second photo if I was represented, since I am down there in the bottom, front and center. So I'm cutting myself off a little bit here down at the bottom, but trying not to cut the mural off. Perfect. Now I've got a couple, if I had been thinking, I have a couple of papers that need to go underneath the corner of this. I'm just not thinking. It's just when I'm layering backwards, it feels like when I'm reassembling from a digital template, I just start with the major pieces, like the card and the large photo and the framed photo, and then I'm like, oh yeah, something needs to slip underneath there. I should be paying better attention. And then the next time when it comes up again, nope, I don't pay better attention. I do the exact same thing. Oh well. Okay, there is the base paper layers of this layout. Now I'm going to add in some embellishments. Now the template itself called for a lot of florals because florals are very popular with digital scrapbookers, but instead of that, I'm going to pull in a bunch of the stickers from the Bookish sticker set. So far I've only used a journaling card and a bunch of papers, and these arrows are actually part of the template, and I just colored them with colors from the collection. So I'm going to put those down, but then I'm going to use a bunch of stickers of different books and things from the sticker set. The Bookish collection, if you buy the bundle, and this is the first time I've offered a bundle in years, if you buy the bundle, it's discounted heavier than the 25% off that it currently is on sale, and it's a permanent discount. But also there is a set of stickers that come with just the bundle, 10 stickers that are a little bit larger than the normal stickers that I offer, and they are fun. Some are snarky, some are spicy, they're all book related, and it is a fun little bonus to the Bookish bundle, which includes, the Bookish bundle includes the digital kit, the first two journal card sets, and the stickers at a discounted price. These little paper strips that are books, they are part of the digital kit that I printed. I love the texture that these sort of torn and inked paper strips give this layout without having to watercolor anything myself. Or at least I guess I did watercolor them myself, but I did it digitally, and they're available to you in the kit. This is the only digital kit embellishment that I use, that book, just because I love the texture on it so much. And then the rest of these are all stickers from the digital kit. I'm going to include my little Kindle in here. I am primarily a Kindle and audio reader, so I made sure in the Bookish collection to have both. There's the audio representation and the Kindle representation. It's actually just an e-reader of any sort of variety. I love this open book with the rainbow as well. And then I did include some of the floral stickers for little pops of color throughout the page, and also I just love florals. I also love these two bookmarks that are included in the stickers. One says BRB, the other one is blank. Well, not blank, it's patterned, but this one says BRB, and I love it. So I would love to go back to Chicago, so it makes sense to me. I'm going to pull this paper strip out a little bit farther because it was getting covered up by these embellishments. I want to make sure it still goes underneath everything. There we go. Then another floral. This one's going to go over here. This is why I'm using liquid glue. Much easier to take off while I'm rearranging everything. Again, I should start at the bottom, but I never do. And then last but not least, bookworm over here. And a couple of the hearts from the sticker sheet as well. And then I decided that for, just for a little pop of texture, I guess it's a heavy pop of texture, I wanted to pull in an acrylic piece because I just felt like there was a little bit of depth missing because I didn't even bother to texturize anything or pop it up off the page. I just really loved the way it looked coming out of the box. So I'm going to add an acrylic piece too, out of the box. I'm going to add an acrylic piece too, but first we need to address this situation here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these papers, I believe it's going to be the heart paper, the multicolored hearts, and I'm going to just put a little strip at the top and the bottom, and it's going to look like the photo is on top of a patterned paper rather than a white piece of cardstock. And what that's going to do is it's going to no longer feel like trapped white space, it's going to feel more intentional. And even though this paper is still mostly white, it just gives it a little bit more of a better finishing touch. So I'm just going to put a couple paper strips under here. And that's going to address that trapped white space and make me feel a little bit better. I'm going to run it up right against that other paper strip. It's going to go underneath it so that it looks like it was the base layer all along. I'm going to repeat the process again on the bottom here. There we go. That looks much better, at least to me. I feel like it looks much better, and that's what matters. It may not be very noticeable to you, but it is to me, and I breathe a sigh of relief. Last but not least, here's my acrylic piece. And I debated between this one and a blue one. These are just old color cast hearts that I have in my stash from way back when. Trying to figure out where I want to put it. And if I want the big one or the little one. Both colors match well enough for me that the color doesn't really matter. And I decided to go with this orange one. And it's going to go right where I left it. And I left that paper backing on because I didn't want it to be see-through. And also I feel like it adheres a little bit better than if I try to glue plastic to paper. This way I'm gluing paper to paper. But that is it for this video. If you'd like to follow the hop, there are links in the description box below. And the Bookish collection is on sale for this weekend only and is available below as well. All right, thank you.